G'day. Do you know where I am? Yeah, I'm on Ramsey Street because N's for Neighbours. Well, I can't believe that Neighbours is gone now. 5:30 weekdays, they are not the same anymore. But you might be wondering, what has Beacon Productions and Ramsey Street got in common? Well, late 80s, early 90s, Neighbours was huge in this country. Quite a few of us were fans of the show. And we loved some of the storylines. Some of them were very dramatic, some were ridiculous, but all of them were ripe to be spoofed. And it just felt right. The club in its early days of video productions should have a go at spoofing the Australian soap. I absolutely loved the show back then, and to write scripts about all the storylines and the characters was just great fun. But filming it was even better, even though some of the antics were a little bit barking mad. In that first Neighbours spoof, Helen was going to marry Des, but Paul Robinson got in there first.
Helen, you mean old battle axe, you know I wanted Des, and one way or another you're not going to get him.
Everybody was moving into the Ramsey's house.
Shabbing a bit higher, please, Paul.
Be patient, Gloria. I've never used an enema before.
Oh yes, and let's not talk too much about the infamous enema scene, including a vacuum cleaner.
Food.
We filmed the first Neighbours spoof in the autumn of 1991 and had so much fun that just 6 months later we filmed the sequel. The sequel was even sillier. What with Helen Daniels marrying her dog Bouncer.
Do you, Helen Daniels, take the Bouncer to be your awful wedded dog?
I do.
And do you, Bouncer, take Helen Daniels to be your awful wedded bone? Then I pronounce you dog and owner.
We didn't actually plan to make any more spoofs, but in 1994, a tragedy within the group actually led us to thinking maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to have some fun. Dear Nell Oldfield, who was such a pivotal member of Beacon in the early days, died suddenly in 1994. We had quite a lot of Stephen Brown filming at the time, which I postponed, and instead I thought, let's just have a bit of cheer, and I wrote a third Neighbours spoof. Nell had been a massive big fan of the show, and it almost felt like a tribute to her. We again had great fun filming it in the spring of 1994. Madge Bishop snorting up cocaine.
Peace, man.
And Doug Willis having affairs with everyone, including a budgerigar called Billy. There was definitely not going to be a Neighbours 4, until new members joined Beacon and fancied having a go. And so, in 1996, a fourth spoof appeared. The production of this fourth spoof was a lot more rockier. We were trying to fit it around the schedules of existing shows Strawberry Fields and Tell the Unexpected. And although we started filming the spoof in 1996, it took until November 1997 before every scene was filmed. This final outing also showcases the huge sea of changes that was going on within the club's membership. There were the early appearances of many people who had become big names in Beacon: Sarah Myatt, John Hampton, Chris Wilkes, Matthew Hampton, etc., alongside the swan songs of many of the group's early stalwarts: Dora Saunders, Chris and Pauline Wiltshire, James Elson. I don't know what my favourite spoof is. There are a lot of individual scenes that I quite like, and some scenes I'm not a big fan of, but I think for memories it's got to be that very first spoof. We all loved the show, we enjoyed playing the characters, and we'd only just got the first video camera for Beacon. There was just a lot of excitement about it. It is strange to me that Beacon Productions has now outlasted Neighbours, because actually the production of Neighbours did inspire Beacon along the way. Our soap, Strawberry Fields, borrowed its title sequences from shows like Neighbours, and every year at the awards evening we'd always have a big group photo, which again was inspired by the cast photos of that Australian soap. And of course we should all follow the motto of the title music: just a friendly wave each morning does make a better day. Right, I'm going to see if I can find Carl and Susan. It's this house.